What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Thanks again. I'm back. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to give you guys some pretty badass content and go over a lot more than I have been and be a lot better at just showing you guys what I do, right? Basically kind of my therapy. And as you can tell, there's nothing in the garage, right? I obviously, got my paddle boards and all my lawn stuff, all kinds of stuff, but there's no truck, right? The 2008 that would normally be in here is gone. Now, I didn't necessarily want to sell the truck, but I had a good friend of mine that was in a situation where he needed a truck. He really liked that truck. It was pretty much done for the most part as far as aesthetically, under the hood, ride-wise, stance-wise, and all that. So I sold it to him. Now, there's a little part of me that kind of regrets selling that truck because I really, really, really like that truck a lot. It rode really well, drove really well, and sounded phenomenal. But sometimes you got to do something, a little bit bigger to help someone out. So I'm super stoked that it went to a good home. In fact, he's already kind of personalizing it and making it his own. So the silver lining there, the glass half full portion of what I'm getting to is now I finally have time to focus on this, right? Now, granted, I still got both the mega cabs. I still have my Jeep, but for the last, 6, 7, 8 months, I've been working on that 2008 with what little free time I've had. Just cleaning it up, right? Just doing a little rehab on it, okay? Because I'm not building anything. Dodge already built the truck. I just cleaned it up a little bit, and brought it back from years of neglect and whatnot, and that's that. So I don't really build trucks. I guess I kind of just personalize them. Maybe with some of the older ones, I guess I like to prefer the term rehab, clean them up a little bit, right? Make them presentable. So anyway, I am excited to basically pay all my attention and all my efforts into getting this thing revamped. Now, body-wise, I'm not doing a lot to the truck. Okay, I'm not going to change up the hood. I'm not going to change the headlights. I'm going to do a couple little things to it, which I'll get into here in a second. But I want to get into what the focus of today's video really is. And that is everything underneath the truck for the most part. Suspension and axles, okay? Now, the truck is going to go up a little bit height-wise, which means that you're going to be able to see a bit more. Not like a 6 or 8 or 10 or 12-inch kit, right? But just enough where it might catch your attention and turn your head. So with that being said, obviously I showed you guys in the last video, I got with the team at McGoy's, got a really nice 4-inch radius arm kit for this thing with all the fixins. Here, let me just show you something, right? Let's get right to it. So McGoy sent this kit, and they've already done it up in a really nice satin black, right? The entire kit's been powder coated. It looks really good. These radius arms are beefy as heck, which normally, you guys know, right? My theme is white and black on this truck and on the Mrs. Mega Cab, this one right here, okay? So this would make sense. Just clean them up, throw them on the truck, and rock and roll. But that's not my goal. My goal right now, and actually it has been for a hot minute, is I want the bottom side of this thing to look as good as the top side, which I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Sounds stupid because it's a daily driver, right? Which means it's going to get dirty, it's going to get chipped up. Things may happen that are out of my control, right? But at the end of the day, not only is it going to look good and perform well and ride just as nice, but maintenance is not going to be as big of a pain in the butt. And I'm going to show you guys and tell you how I'm going to do that. But first, let's get into the madness with the lift kit, okay? It's not really madness, but for starters, I'm getting all this stuff powder coated, okay? So I've got to have these bushings on the radius arms pressed out because at the end of the day, I can't have these blasted and powder coated and expect these things to actually do what they're supposed to do. So I'll be taking the radius arms themselves down to a good friend of mine at OG Metalworks, who's going to press out the bushings for me so I can take everything over to pristine powder coating and have them powder coat everything. Now I've picked 3 different colors for basically everything underneath this truck, which I'm not going to get into yet. I'm just going to show you when it's all done because some of you may be like, damn, and some of you may be like, why? Well, at the end of the day, I still kind of ask myself why, but I lean more towards the damn side of things because I see kind of the final product in my head. And it's going to look killer, okay? Now, you're probably wondering, you're going to strip everything off and have it all powder coated. I want everything underneath this truck to pop. So with that being said, the axles and a lot of the other little things underneath the truck, I'm going to paint, right? I'm not stripping the axles off. This isn't a designated show truck. It's a daily driver that's going to turn some heads. So as far as the axles, maybe sections of the frame goes, I'm going to be using my tried and true Duplicolor 1634. Okay, now it's a low gloss, and this stuff done right with good prep work lays on super well, looks really good, and maintenance on it is super easy. And I'm going to tell you why. So as far as the suspension goes and the axles and everything that's going to get painted and powder coated, I'm going to ceramic coat everything. And I know it sounds stupid. I do. I know. You're like, why? Well, I can't do all this work to this truck and just leave it alone. I can't do it and not have it be clean when I clean the rest of the truck, right? If you want to look underneath this thing and it's not snowing or raining out, right? It should look good. So I'm not going to spend the money and effort and energy to do all this to have it look like crap in a month or two because it got dirty. So everything's getting ceramic coated. Sounds stupid, but, well, it is stupid. And what I'm going to use that works really well is some Adams graphene. Okay, now I put this stuff on everything. The entire truck is ceramic coated, everything. Even the grill slats, the individual grill slats on this thing, they're all ceramic coated. The wheels, they're all ceramic coated. They've each of these wheels has 3 coats of ceramic coat on them. So when I wash this thing, drying them off is simple, and it doesn't really scratch. I mean, obviously I use some microfibers, but it doesn't scratch, and they look great. And I got these wheels that are on this thing right here used, and they still look really good, but they're not staying on the truck. Get into that in a second. So back to the lift, okay? Yes, it's all getting stripped. It's all going to get repowder coated, and it's going to look absolutely badass, which I'm excited about, okay? Which leads me to a couple other things that I'll be changing underneath the truck as well. So I want the lift to look good. I want it to pop. It's going to be 3 different colors, everything underneath the truck. So I wanted to change a couple other things up. So I went ahead and ordered some AFE front and rear diff covers for this thing, and I got them bare, right? Which is kind of cool. So this right here, I don't know if this is the front, or actually I think this is the front, okay? But if you guys look at that, they're raw, because I'm going to have these powder coated. Now, I know there's other choices out there. Banks makes a great rear diff cover. You know, I've ran tons of Mag high-tech diff covers on plenty of trucks over the years. But I wanted something that looks good, holds a little bit more fluid, and matches front and rear, okay? And I found out AFE has matching diff covers for the front and the rear. So those are going to get powder coated. The axles are going to get painted. Everything is going to be powder coated or painted underneath this truck, and everything's getting ceramic coated, right? Yes, I'm going to ceramic coat everything that I paint with that Duplicolor. It's all getting done. It is madness. It is crazy. But the nice thing is I can do a lot of this before it goes on the truck. That way, once it's on the truck, it's easy, right? It's just maintenance. So yeah, I know it's a lot of work, but it's going to look really good at the end of the day. Now, I've got 2 different sets of wheels and tires that I'll be running on this truck, depending on what I'm doing with it, right? Because I want to have my cake and eat it too. So I'm going to have a big tire small wheel as well as a big wheel small tire setup. The big wheels have already been ordered. The smaller tires, right, have already been ordered. So I probably have a few more weeks before those get here. But for now, well, let me just show you, okay? Now, if you guys remember, I had these bad boys on my 3rd gen. I could not let that truck go with these wheels. These are some of my favorite wheels of all time. They look great. The finish on them is phenomenal. And I love the design. And I do like the OMF rings on these things too. I think having the black ring on there just kind of breaks it up, as well as the black, you know, in the Parallel Forge logos, which shout out to these guys. These wheels are badass. And I've gotten so many compliments on these wheels compared to the Lord knows how many other wheels I've ran, big wheels and small wheels. So hats off to you guys. These things are the shit. Now, tire-wise, these do have some Toyo 37 1350s on them, some open countries, which are badass tires. Okay, I do like these tires, but I'm a Nitto guy. So I've got some 38 1350 Ridge Grapplers that'll be here today, and I'll be having these things mounted up this weekend, and then those JTXs are coming off, and these are going on. Mostly because those are going to get sold. Well, I'll list them here this weekend, and I just want to rock a big tire small wheel setup. So that'll be basically the setup that goes on the truck. Right there, yeah. Those will be going on the truck soon, a lot sooner than later. And then when the big wheels get here and I have those mounted up, I'll just throw them on and show you guys. Because at that point, I should have everything underneath the truck done. The lift will be on. Shocks wise, I may reuse what's on there. I may get a different set. I think I'm going to stick with some Kings. I'm not really sure. But this thing is going to look so good. That's all I'm shooting for. Now, for those that know, the grill on this thing is not a factory Laramie grill, okay? The truck is not a Longhorn or a Limited. I just threw on some fender flares because I personally like them, but I might take these off to see how I like it without them for a little bit, pending there's not any kind of marring on the paint. But anyway, back to it. So this is a Longhorn grill, and I took each slat off of the grill itself, shipped them out, had them painted in a gloss black, and then ceramic coated all of them, threw them back on, and then ceramic coated them again. The problem with this setup is, yeah, it does chip, right? Obviously driving this thing down to Texas and back, caught a few little rocks or whatnot on the grill. So got to touch them up, but I wanted to change it up. And turns out a guy that I used to work with actually had a Limited grill, okay, off of a 2019 and 2024. So I bought it from him. So plans for this, pretty simple. Probably just going to swap out the lettering to the white lettering and throw it on the truck to see how I like it. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to leave it on there because I still got to clean this thing up and ceramic coat it as well. But just to kind of change it up, right? Because I have these ideas that I've had for a while that are going to happen. They're coming to fruition between the lift, wheels and tires, maybe a little bit more paint match. Actually, you know what? That's a good idea. Here, let me see what you guys think. So the badges on the hood, okay, are white, obviously, and black. So had these painted to match, left the base of it black to kind of have them pop a little bit. So here's what I'm thinking. Painting this top section in white, right, the rear part of the cap, as well as the front, and leaving the arms black. Only because those arms are going to catch a lot of crap from the road with the new set of wheels and tires and the bigger set of wheels and tires. So I figure if I do the cap, maybe they're less susceptible to getting rock chipped, or maybe I just have those painted and have them wrapped. I'm not sure. But that's going to be the next step as far as paint match for the truck goes, because everything else is pretty much done. Headlights, obviously the hood, the bumpers, the tail lights, third brake light, everything is paint matched and tinted or just paint match in general. So that's a good idea. I'm going to do that. And I know of a shop up north that can actually take those caps and sand them down, smooth them out, and make them look just like the rest of the truck. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to paint match the mirrors. It's going to look good, guys. I'm telling you. This truck, between the new lift, thanks to the badasses at McGoy's, the different sets of wheels and tires, the diff covers, everything else that I've got going for this thing, I'm going to just make this thing look like $1 million. And I'm going to still drive it as often as I can. I might throw this thing on jack stands and just say, to heck with it, and just do it all. But that would require me to have something else to drive, which, yes, I got the Mrs. truck. That's her daily, right? And yes, I have the Jeep, but I like driving a truck. So I'll figure it out. But for starters, that's what I'm doing. You guys got to see the new. I'm super excited to actually show you guys as I get everything done, because this truck right now looks good. I love the way that it looks, from the chassis limited bumper, the lights up, these Baja Designs lights, the Alpha Rex, all this stuff, right? I'm a huge fan of. I love the way that it looks. That's why I'm not really trying to change up much on the body of this thing. The grill might be a nice little subtle change up, right? Switch it up a little bit. The mirrors, probably a little bit overdue, right? I mean, obviously, you can leave them black. They do look good, but I think the little bit of white on there might make them pop a little bit more. And just those little details, I think, help make the truck stand apart from another white mega cab or whatnot driving down the road. So, yeah, I'm stoked. This is going to be good. So I'm going to get these bad boys loaded up into that. I'm going to take them down to OG, have him take these bushings out of here so I can take everything down to pristine powder coat, have them knock it out. So the next video will be basically everything that I'm going to get powder coated, maybe a surprise or two in there, and then it's all going on the truck. Then it's time to start taking everything apart, painting everything, and putting everything back together with all the new good stuff, right? Damn. This is going to be fun, and I'm super excited to show you guys and share all this with you, okay? So if you have any questions, you have any concerns, leave them down below. I'm really excited. I hope I was able to answer all your questions with what I'm going to do with the truck and the changes that are happening to it. I kind of got a bunch of parts laid out in my garage, which feels really good to do, actually, and not have something in here. So, yeah. So stay tuned. Have a great rest of your day. and thank you again.